गुड मॉर्निंग। तो आज बात करते हैं गॉस लॉ के बारे में। देखिए, गॉस लॉ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है जेई के एग्ज़ाम के लिए, स्कूल के एग्ज़ाम के लिए और नीट के एग्ज़ाम के लिए। सो गॉस लॉ इज़ वन ऑफ द मोस्ट important laws that you see in class 12th, and we will talk about the concept development. Okay, so let's talk about concept development. Unless you have strong concepts, no amount of books, no amount of numerical practice will help you, because if the concept is not clear, you will not be able to do any numerical properly. You will always lack the confidence. So let's talk about the Gauss law, and let me talk about the situation number one, where you have a opaque cube, which means you can't see inside the cube. Okay, this is your cube, and if in such a cube, you find that electric flux is coming out from all the sides of this opaque cube, so you can see, and then the back side also has the flux coming out of it. So when the flux is coming out of this opaque cube, which means you cannot see inside this cube. आप इस cube के अंदर देख नहीं सकते. But the fact that you have flux coming out of it, the flux is coming out, tells you volumes about what kind of charge is inside this cube. So if the flux is coming out, you have a positive charge inside the the cube, and this cube is obviously the Gaussian surface. You can see it is very symmetrical, and in all the directions the flux is coming out of this opaque box. Now if you take another opaque box, okay, let's take one more opaque box, and when we take this opaque box, which means we cannot see inside this box, that is what opacity means, and we find that flux is actually going inside the box. Okay, so the flux is going inside the box, so the flux is downward side, and then you obviously have the backward side and the left side. In all cases, the flux is going inside. So if the flux is going inside the cube, okay, inside the opaque cube, so we will say opaque cube. This is the second situation which you will see. This is an opaque cube, and the flux is going inside. Then we can conclude that the charge contained by this cube is a negative charge. Without even going inside the cube, just by the look of electric field flux, you can guess what type of charge is contained inside this surface, the closed surface. Let's talk about situation number 3, which you will see often in numericals. So if you have a cubical box, okay, again opaque, which means you cannot see inside it, and this is your situation number 3, okay, and what you find is that the flux in this case, passes through the opaque box. So the flux comes in the opaque part you cannot see anything, and the flux leaves the opaque box. Okay, if the flux enters and the same amount of flux leaves the opaque box, in such scenarios we say that the charge which is enclosed by this opaque box or the Gaussian surface will be 0. So you must have these three situations, the flux coming out, the flux coming in, and the flux passing. So this situation is called as flux passing through the surface. Okay, so these three situations give you three interpretations of the amount of charge which is enclosed inside this Gaussian surface. And this concept will be used very, very often in your numericals. The shape can become cylinder, the shape can become a sphere, but the concept of flux, moving out of the box or the sphere, moving inside or passing through, holds true for all the shapes. Thank you very much.